had a dream last year that started with a conversation about a romantic commitment. Moved into a Walmart job in a place called Hermitage, and somehow ended up in a secret facility where people were setting fires and running out to chase ghosts. On the surface, these scenes seem very unrelated. But when I began looking at what each scene was doing, I realized that I think they're teaching one continuous lesson about intimate relationships. Commitment creates the container for intimacy. Safety does not require isolation. And loving someone doesn't require me to follow them into every fire they have to walk through. I think this dream is showing me what it looks like to remain deeply connected to someone without abandoning myself in the process. If you're new here, every Monday and Thursday, we explore real dreams together. But more importantly, I'm teaching you how to become a student of your own dream language. Because sometimes a bizarre change in scenery isn't a change of the message at all. Images change, but the underlying message stays consistent. And that's what's happening in this next dream. I had this dream on December 14th of 2025. My mom, in a bright room, is asking about my desire to sleep with someone I'm romantically interested in. Basically, asking about my method of fulfillment. I want to tell her that I will be marrying him and then sleeping with him, but I don't know how to come out and say it because I'm not sure how she'll react to how quickly I will marry him. She seems happy for me, and I wonder if she already knows how quickly I'll marry him. It's an overall good feeling, even though I'm a little unsure how much to reveal. We are leaving where we are at and headed to Walmart next door. As we walk down the steps to the public stairwell, my mom is asking questions about the Walmart, and I'm describing it. In my mind, I know it's Hajine's store, and I describe it to my mom as a 1995 style Walmart. I see it in my mind as pristine and nicely designed and built. I tell my mom there's a co-manager position open in Hermitage, and I asked her if I should apply. I'm wondering in my heart if that's the responsible thing I should do to provide financially. I absolutely do not want this, and I'm so thankful that she indicates that I should not apply. This part of the dream feels like connection and relief, and I'm showing her something I already know well. Next, everyone heads out of the secret facility to do what they're meant to do. One person leaves through a chute straight down. They have to light the white towel curtain that covers the top of the chute on fire right before being sucked down. I see beautiful flames light up all around the towel easily. Lady Gaga is the caretaker that stays behind. This dream has a Ghostbusters team feel to it. And Lady Gaga is quiet and contemplative as she goes about her routine of gently putting out the flames around the towel with water through a pipe-type faucet that extends out and twists as needed to get the flame out. The white towel is never consumed and still looks brand new, white as snow. It's fascinating and beautiful. Then Lady Gaga is showering in the same chute, and I wonder at an intruder below being able to get access to her. But I reason this place is very tightly secured and safe. Lady Gaga is completely full of soap suds, head to toe, as she washes. But then we hear mass screaming outside, and she goes to the window to see what has happened. I remember seeing out the window. I don't quite remember if it was through her eyes, but it might have been. I can't remember what scary disaster was unfolding outside, but I remember knowing Lady Gaga would be safe because no one knew about or could get into this safe house. The overall feeling of the dream was safety and calm and routine in a peaceful way. Now, I'm not reading this dream as a prediction of a specific man that I'm going to marry. I believe it has a principle hidden inside of it. First, the dream does not shame the sexual desire. My mother is asking about my method of fulfillment, and I already know that answer. Commitment first, and then intimacy. What catches my attention is that the intimacy itself is not negative. I'm not trying to suppress intimacy, but I also don't seem willing to use intimacy as a way to create commitment. In the dream, the order is reversed. Commitment comes first. Intimacy grows inside of that. And I'm using the term intimacy very broadly here, not only sexually, but vulnerability too, emotional exposure and deep relational connection. I think that's really important because this dream isn't going to go on to tell me how to tolerate instability in a relationship. It begins by establishing a structure. There is commitment, and then there is deeper intimacy. And then, of course, like dreams do, the entire scene changes. Suddenly, we're discussing a Walmart, but I don't think the subject has actually changed. Now, this Walmart has some specific characteristics. It's pristine, well-designed, well-built, and familiar. It's specifically a 1995 styled Walmart. I think that's important because this dream is going out of its way to make sure to establish that there's nothing wrong with the old structure of this building. It's beautiful. It's functional. I know it extremely well. I can even explain it to someone else, but it's old. And sometimes I do think we outgrow ways of functioning that weren't necessarily wrong. They may have served us incredibly well in the season in which we needed them. I am not excited about this co-manager position. I am wondering if it's the responsible thing to do, but I don't want to do it. I had to look up the name meaning for Hermitage, and let me read it to you. It means a dwelling of a hermit, small and remote. Now that job title becomes a little more fascinating, doesn't it? I'm not just being offered management. I'm considering becoming a manager at Hermitage. Basically, I'm asking, do I need to go back to managing through isolation? It's asking me about my emotional posture. When a relationship becomes vulnerable or uncertain, do I have to go back to old patterns? And that structure can look like being independent and handling everything myself. Don't need too much. Stay protected. Retreat. But thankfully, what's that answer? No. And you can tell in the dream that I have such relief to receive that answer. Safety does not require isolation. And this is crucial because it is helping me recognize that the rest of the dream is not becoming a message about emotional detachment. I'm not being taught I don't need anyone. And this dream is releasing maybe those undertones of emotional, those voices in our heads, that tell us that isolation is the only thing that'll keep us safe. And that's when I think the dream begins to ask a very obvious question. If I don't have to protect myself through isolation, how do I stay safe while remaining deeply connected to another person? And then thankfully, the dream shows me someone else is lighting a fire. This detail is very important. That fire is not random. This person leaving lights that fire themselves and then they leave. They have somewhere to go. They have something to do. And because I notate that this part of the dream has a Ghostbusters feel to it, I start thinking about it almost like this. What ghosts do they have to chase? And I'm not talking about literal ghosts. I'm talking in metaphor. When you hear the metaphor chasing ghosts, or they're just chasing ghosts, or stop chasing ghosts, what are we talking about? Old wounds, attachment, fear, past relationships, grief, protection strategies. Whatever unresolved material belongs to that individual. And here's what really matters. Lady Gaga does not follow them. It is not her job. And when we apply this relationally to waking life, that point is really, really critical. Someone I love can have something they need to confront without it having to become my assignment. I can love my partner. I can remain connected to my partner. But I cannot climb down that chute and resolve his internal world for him. His ghosts are his. And that doesn't mean that I don't care. It means that I understand where one person's responsibility ends and another person's responsibility starts. Now look at how Lady Gaga deals with this situation. Someone else starts that fire, but she's the one that puts it out. They light a fire. She comes with water. And it's my favorite detail of this entire really freaking cool dream. Someone else becomes associated with fire, and she doesn't respond with more fire. She responds with water. Now let's take this into a relational atmosphere. Someone else's activation does not require my activation. My partner can be afraid without requiring me to be afraid. He can become overwhelmed without requiring me to be overwhelmed. He can need space to process something without me automatically turning that into a catastrophe. I can notice the fire, but then ask what response actually belongs to me. That's emotional regulation, not emotional detachment. Now let's look at the white covering, the white towel that's over the chute. The fire surrounds it, and the flames are beautiful. Lady Gaga puts them out, and afterward, the towel is completely unscathed. Now, that fire was real. That's important. Don't lose that. The dream isn't pretending that nothing happened, but experiencing fire and being destroyed by it are two very different things. This reminds me of the dream we just went over, that tsunami dream, where the tsunami comes in, but I am not destroyed by it. Another wave comes and I hold on to the roots. And now activation is not necessarily relational destruction. And then this next detail really stopped me. Lady Gaga doesn't clean the guy that went down the chute. She cleans herself. If someone I love is working on something difficult, my job isn't necessarily to figure out what's going on inside of him. My job is to ask what's happening inside me. Am I reacting in fear? Am I trying to carry something that is not mine to carry? Have I lost perspectives, or have I stepped outside of boundaries? Do I need rest? Do I need cleansing? How do I return to my equilibrium? His internal condition is his responsibility, and my internal condition is mine. Now look at the end of this part of the dream where she hears screaming and chaos outside. She goes to the window. Something frightening is unfolding, but I know she's safe. She's not ignorant. She's looking out the window. She sees the chaos outside of that window. Being internally secure doesn't require me to pretend that there's no chaos going on outside. She sees it. She knows it's there. She just simply doesn't leave her secure position and gets swallowed up by it. There are so many things that the outside chaos can be. Other people's opinions and relationship advice, fear, and the way we project onto each other, cultural relationships, and other people's dysfunctional relationships. Whatever it represents, the principle is universal. External chaos does not have to gain access to my internal world. Now let's connect these two strange locations that are both highlighted in this dream. Hermitage and the Ghostbusters station are not showing me the same kind of safety. Hermitage protects through isolation. The safe house protects through internal safety. Hermitage says, stay away so nothing can hurt you. The secure facility says, stay connected while continuing to understand where you end and another person begins. This dream is not teaching me to be hyper independent, and it is not teaching me to become enmeshed. It's showing me something in the middle. Connection without self-abandonment. And that dream, immediately connected my learner brain back to the dream we just covered in the last video. In that video, I talk about where my dreams have become my mahogany elevator. They don't eliminate relational chaos. They help me rise high enough to see what's actually happening. The elevator gives me perspective. The roots give me grounding. The safe house gives me internal security. And all three of these things accomplish something together. They help me remain myself while chaos ensues around me. This also goes back to my pattern recognition of my in-laws, where Rod represents that core self, that equilibrium within myself, and Marianne represents the discernment that helps keep placing me back in that core equilibrium. Those are the exact two capacities needed for this relational model to work. Equilibrium, to stay centered. Discernment, to know what's mine and what's his. And my dreams help me access both of those. Now let's go all the way back to the sex and the marriage part at the beginning of the dream. Now I understand why this dream had to begin with commitment, because none of this is an argument for endlessly regulating myself inside an undefined relationship. The dream establishes the container first. I require commitment for intimacy. I don't retreat into isolation for self-protection. And once I'm securely connected, I don't abandon myself to manage my partner's inner world. I think sometimes there's a misconception out there where we believe that relationships require each partner to manage the other person's internal world. But healthy intimacy requires that each partner takes responsibility for their own inner world while remaining deeply connected. I can support you without becoming responsible for fixing you. I can care about your fire without setting myself on fire. I can allow you to confront your ghosts without trying to chase them myself. And I can remain open to intimacy without trying to run back to isolation every time the relationship gets a little uncomfortable. Healthy relationship does not require me to abandon myself. And these two dream episodes this week really marry each other very well. On Monday, I showed you how my dreams help me rise above the chaos. And today, my dream is showing me how to remain grounded within myself while the chaos is still ensuing around me. My dreams will never tell me how to control someone else's process. They will continually bring me back to the only internal world I have any control over, and that's my own. And that's what makes this dream so very meaningful to me. It doesn't tell me that a healthy relationship means avoiding every fire. And it doesn't tell me that difficult situations should send me back to Hermitage and into self-isolation either. It shows me another possibility, that I can require commitment before intimacy, that I can remain deeply connected to another person, that I can allow that person to confront whatever belongs to them without making their process my responsibility. Their fire doesn't require my fire. Their ghosts don't have to become my ghosts. And when something happening around me begins to affect something inside of me, I can come back to myself and ask, what is mine to tend? What needs cleansing within me? What am I responsible for? And what am I carrying that was never mine to carry? My dreams have become such a beautiful way that I keep returning to that. They give me perspective when I'm standing too close to the chaos. They help me understand the roots beneath my reactions. And they continually call me back towards equilibrium. Maybe healthy relationship isn't finding someone that never creates a fire. Maybe it's about two people who can stay responsible for their own internal world while continuing to stay deeply connected. I don't have to chase someone down the chute to love them. I don't have to set myself on fire because they're on fire. And most importantly, I don't have to retreat into isolation to stay safe. I can remain connected without abandoning myself. If you made it through to the end of this episode, thank you. The time you choose to spend with me really means a lot. And if you would like help with your own dreams, I have a free community for that. I also have one-on-one sessions you can sign up for. Just see the links below. And if not, just come on back and see me here, because you know what? Your story really does matter. I'll see you next time.